I had a lot of friends, seniors, as well as family friends who had taken up the top course, and they had given their exam. They've secured a good score, and now is the time then when they are applying, and they have actually got a few admits. So yeah, I knew about top. I'd seen Sandeep sir's video on YouTube, and yeah, it was pretty natural. I mean, the self-paced course is more than sufficient for getting a good score on GMAT. uh, Everything is outlined perfectly. Everything was given very particularly that okay, after this class, this is your pre-work, this is your post-work, and this is all what you need to do. And trust me when I say this, I did everything as per the plan. Nothing, I didn't skip a question. Whatever was told, like if it said that you need to do it from page 20th to 40th, I did it like that. I didn't skip anything. I didn't skip any question or any concept. That's how I went about it. So one thing that Sandeep sir mentions in his webinars and everything is motivation is not enough. You can be motivated one day and the next day it will just go out of the window. So you can not just rely on motivation. You can be motivated, but the results they won't go your way.
Right,
Yeah.
Raunaq. So, heartiest congratulations once again. 685 is a phenomenal score, I would say. You've been able to secure a 94th percentile on quantitative reasoning, a 96th percentile on verbal with a 86th scale score, which is phenomenal, and 79 on that data insights. So, could you tell us something about yourself and what motivated you to start preparing for the GMAT?
Yeah, sure. Firstly, thanks to Top and thanks to you in particular. We will discuss about that. I believe all the strategy sessions that we have had. So yeah, I am a software engineer by profession, and I am a 2020 graduate from VIT Vellore. Um, Ever since I started working in tech, I realized that I need to maybe learn more about business, and I've always loved quants in particular. I've had an analytical mind. Even when I got my first job, after a year or so in, I kind of understood that maybe I am a bit better on the business side of things, and that is something that I would love to explore. I mean, I love tech, but yeah, that's what motivated me to write GMAT and then go for this journey of mine.
Great, Ronak. I think a lot of tech people have this realization after having put in, I think, 1 or 2 years of work and working in the industry that they would be better off if they also brushed upon their business skills a little. So that makes absolute sense. Uh, and what particularly did appeal in the top course that you decided to go ahead with our test prep company and not any other provider? Because we know that there are a lot of other test prep providers as well, which address the GMAT.
To be very honest, I didn't research much. I had given CAT an attempt, a very half-hearted attempt back in 2020, 2024. I just prepared for maybe 1.5 months, and it didn't go to plan. Uh, so I thought of switching to GMAT after that because I've already gained maybe 2+ years of experience. So I thought it's much better for me to write the GMAT. Uh, I had a lot of friends, seniors, as well as family friends who had taken up the top course, and they had given their exam. They've secured a good score, and now is the time then when they are applying, and they have actually got a few admits. So yeah, I knew about top. I'd seen Sandeep sir's video on YouTube, and yeah, it was pretty natural. I mean, I decided in January 2025 end that I want to begin, and Feb I had enrolled in top the self-paced course, and that's how the journey began. Then.
Right. So apart from the self-paced course, we're also, my teammates tell me that you'd also subscribe to the intensive course. Uh, what made you, what motivated you to sign up for the intensive course? Because I think the self-paced course also does a pretty good job in addressing and covering grounds when it comes to preparing you for the GMAT. So why did you think that you needed an intensive course and how did it help?
Uh, the self-paced course is more than sufficient for getting a good score on GMAT. Uh, Everything is outlined perfectly. You can just go through the entire plan that there is, and then there's also an option of having the strategy sessions and then moving forward with it. The place where I struggle, enrolling for an intensive course was my personal decision, and due to whatever was going on in my life, that I had to enroll for it. I was not very disciplined during my starting 4 5 months. That has to do with a lot of factors. Firstly, my job, where I was working as a front end developer for a company with whose revenue is entirely based on the IPL and cricket, and that is was a pretty busy season. So I didn't get time. I used to give maybe an hour every day for the first 2 3 months, but as and when things started, uh, like months started passing by, I realized that this isn't enough. I need to be a bit more disciplined. And right at that time, there was an intensive batch that was about to start. So I thought maybe this is what will make me a bit more disciplined. I will be giving fixed hours each and every day, and the weekends also. So yeah, that's why I ended up enrolling for that.
Great, that is wonderful. I think a lot of students who struggle with discipline enroll for the intensive batch, but it usually functions in a way that you have to first go over the self-paced course and then enroll for the intensive batch, because otherwise, grasping all those concepts in a short duration of time can prove out to be very overwhelming for certain people. So, in terms of the material, you would have gone over, I'm sure, a lot of material because we provide all students with a lot of material. So, what was the material that you covered in your entire prep? Was there any selection that you made with respect to which materials would you be covering and which would you be leaving? Or is it that you comprehensively covered everything that was provided to you?
So I started off with the basic material and I was done with it maybe by a month or month and a half. I took a bit more time. Uh, I initially I was underestimating GMAT. I thought, okay, quants is okay, quants is fine. I will be able to do quants. Uh, DI is also okay. English is what I need to work on, and that's how I'll proceed. But like maybe a month or two in the program, I realized that no, I can't take it this easily. I'll have to give in a lot of hours. So the basic material, I covered it thoroughly. The entire classes, the videos, recorded lectures that were there, I did it very diligently. And that's when after that I moved on to the
After
main
class?
material. Yeah, the after class preparation and the main classes that are there. Uh, it was everything was given very particularly that okay, after this class, this is your pre-work, this is your post-work, and this is all what you need to do. And trust me when I say this, I did everything as per the plan. Nothing, I didn't skip a question. Whatever was told, like if it said that you need to do it from page 20th to 40th, I did it like that. I didn't skip anything. I didn't skip any question or any concept. That's how I went about it. So RC, and I'd start with verbal first. RC, the 700 800 PDF is very, very good. During my entire prep of this 8 9 months, I did the RC material maybe twice. I covered each and every question, uh, deep dove into everything as to why this question is correct, and how can I eliminate others. Octave really helped me in that case. That's what I did for RC, and after completing that, I moved on to the LSAT questions, LSAT passages. I had done around 35 to 40 LSAT papers, and for me, LSAT was a game changer. It helped me enhancing my retention skills. It helped me understand because the LSAT passages are very, 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 very
Information dense.
yeah, they are very dense, and you have to retain a lot. And your inference skills actually improve once you start doing long passages. Short passages are still fine. You will get tricky small tricky passages, But yeah, I mean, the dense passages you have to do them. So I used to time each and every passage that I was attempting. I used to have a strict 8 to 9 minutes timer. I used to exceed that because LSAT passages are tough. But yeah, they were the game changer for me. Uh, Quants, and for yeah, for CR, I mean the entire videos, they are more than sufficient. All the techniques sir teaches with respect to CR, they are spot on. And for CR, I did the topic wise PDF maybe twice. Good questions from basic, they go on to the high level. The CCR 700 800 series, I maybe completed 70% of that because I know that I had developed this natural knack for CR by then where I could tackle questions. So I didn't get a chance to complete all of it. And towards the end of my prep, I wasn't doing that much of CR because CR was fine. I was struggling more with RC. That's why I ended up doing the RC
LSATs.
portion. Yeah, that's why I moved to LSATs. Quants, I have done the Quant 700 800 PDF twice.
Wow.
I from end to end, I did it twice. And like for quants in particular, my error log was very, very detailed. I was maintaining it. Even if it was a silly mistake, I used to mention that what silly mistake have I made? Is it the I even used to make calculation errors. There was a mock where I for 24 by 30 I ended up writing it as 5 by 6. I remember it is 4 by 5, right? I ended up writing it 5 by 6. To that detail I had gone and made that this is the calculation error that I had made, and that actually helped me in my actual exam. I got the same ratio, but this time I knew कि no, मैंने ये गलती पहले करी हुई है. I'm not supposed to maintain it. I'm not supposed to repeat it. So yeah, I did that. The sectional tests for quants were tough, but they had those tricky word problems and everything, which I gave 7 sectional tests for quants, and yeah, that was more than enough. Quants was still natural to me. Being an engineer, I was okay with quants since the start only. Like even when I gave my first diagnostic mock, I got only 5 questions wrong, I believe, in quant. So quant was still okay. I mean, I'm not happy with my score.
You're
I
not
could
happy
have
with your score even after
with
having it
points.
scored
With
87.
respect to points, yeah, I could have done better. Uh, uh, yeah, that was it for points. The sectionals and the PDFs were enough. But yeah, in the intensive batch, there are the question. It the intensive batch actually trains you for those last 2 3 tough questions, right? That are there. And with the intensive batch, I got into a hang of doing these long sittings for quants and the tough questions, the toughest questions. I mean, and they were very helpful. Once I could tackle the very tough questions in that batch, I realized that okay, quants is done. I'm fine with that. Uh, DI was very painful for me, and my score is like it reflects that.
Reflective. Right.
Yeah, DI for me, DI was like a sine graph. Uh, a few weeks it used to be very good, and then I went through that again and again. In particular, DS really troubled me. Even after knowing all the traps and everything that Sir had detailed, I believe that I kind of didn't pay that much of an attention to it. I could have maybe gone through the basics once more and just been a bit more careful and improved my timing. But yeah, I mean, for DI, I did the entire PDFs, the entire uh, after class tests, and the sectionals, everything I'd covered. And maybe the after class tests I'd given them twice. And yeah, that was pretty much it for
Right.
all the three.
One thing that stood out to me was that despite of being an engineer, you were someone who still thought initially that you were good at quants, but that wasn't reflecting in your mock scores. And I know that you're someone who is comprehensively utilized doubt support and strategy calls. So how did that factor in your entire prep journey? Was there any course correction that was offered to you that really changed the game for you?
Yeah. So, firstly, so I believe that the intensive batch, right? It really the discipline part was done. I could I started getting mid 600s after the during the intensive batch itself. Towards the end, I started getting the 645s consistently. But that's when I realized that I'm making a few silly mistakes. I'm being very careless. I am rushing up with quants in particular, where I'm not actually taking that moment to sit with the question and just maybe give it another 10 seconds to understand it a bit more. So that's what I had to work on. For maybe 2-3 weeks, I sat up with all the questions I'd gotten wrong over the last 7-8 months, and I re-attempted everything. Uh, One thing that I really found helpful was the doubt and the strategy sessions. Whenever I had a query or whenever I had a problem, there was a solution to it. There was a plan that was given to me, and I had to just blind. So one thing that Sandeep sir mentions in his webinars and everything is motivation is not enough. You can be motivated one day and the next day it will just go out of the window. So you can not just rely on motivation. You can be what he wants and what he emphasizes on is consistency. I was motivated during the first few months, but I was not consistent. Had I been consistent, I would have cracked this exam maybe in 4 or 5 months max. Like 4 months though is more than enough to take care of it. Even with a very tight schedule, even if you have long working hours, like I had very long working hours. I used to start working by 10 and work till 11 in the night during the busy season. That's fine, but still, you need to be disciplined. You need to give those maybe 2-3 hours every day without fail. There will be days where the motivation will fail, but if you are consistent enough, you'll keep on going. You'll keep doing it whether or not you are liking it or no. So yeah, consistency is what matters. Motivation won't.
Right. And while we were having this discussion earlier as well on a WhatsApp call, right? You mentioned something about you properly leveraging the doubt clearance sessions that Tanishq would hold. Would you like to touch upon that?
Yeah. So during the intensive batch, Tanishq used to hold these doubt clearing sessions, and even after like there used to be some 20-25 very tough questions that used to be there. Even after having a 80-85% accuracy on them, I used to bother him consistently. I used to be of the first one on that call and just ask for better ways to solve quant questions. I used to tell him my approach if it was there. And yeah, I mean, Tanishq, the plan and the way he taught quants, right? I could tackle the tough questions after that. So yeah, I've bothered him a lot, and even the doubt clearing session, the email support, right? I remember I've seen a lot of times you used to reply to my emails, verbal, and so I have judiciously used every single thing. I had maybe 4 or 5 guidance strategy sessions. I've bothered every single one.
So Ronak, after you completed the self-paced course, after you completed the live class sessions, you took your first mock, right? And you scored a 525, is what you mentioned. And many
Yeah,
of our students end up with such scores, which tends to impact their morale by to a great extent, right? So how did you navigate from there to securing the score that you have, and how did you take it as a motivation rather than something to be worried about?
yeah. So my first diagnostic was in July. When Sandeep sir asks you to write your first diagnostic, that's usually when you have completed the entire self-paced course, and that's when you're supposed to give it. I gave it. I scored a 525, and my verbal and quant was fine. DI was a disaster for me. I remember getting only 6 or 7 questions correct and 13 wrong. I was aware that the top marks are on a bit on the tougher side. Uh, and a lot of people have told me, even if you consistently score a higher 500s in the in the top marks, right, you will be able to manage the actual exam. It's not going to be that tough.
Difficult.
But I wanted to start practicing on the higher side. I want to practice the difficult questions. So that's when I started doing the material again. I started going through my error. I started maintaining a proper detailed error log, and eventually I joined the intensive
Intensive
batch.
batch.
Intensive batch. Uh, from a 525, within a month or a month and a half, I went to a 645
Oh,
on the
that's
top
wonderful.
on the top marks.
That's phenomenal. Yes.
Only a few adjustments here and there. I would say that going from that 645 to a 675 on the top marks was tougher than going from that 525 to that 645.
645.
Uh, with the few adjustments and with a better understanding of the topics, a bit more depth, you can easily reach that mid 600 level. But it's above that's actually the competitive part.
Challenging.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that required a lot of hours, a lot of repetition of material and questions, a lot of mocks, and a lot of sectionals.
So you also
I
mentioned, sorry to cut you off. You also mentioned that in data insights, which has been a pain point throughout your journey, you were able to improve your score by leaps and bounds and at least get it to a 79, and you'd been scoring far better on the mocks that you had been taking. And a lot of our students face a similar issue with data insights as a section.
Hmm.
So, is there any particular tip that you would want to give onlookers as to how you must navigate the section to get the results that you desire in a timely fashion?
Okay. Firstly, I think that I could have done much better for DI. I I had started seeing where all I was going wrong. Had I given it a bit more time, I could have managed 83 or in 80 to 83 easily. That's what I was getting on the actual mocks. Uh, it is a new section. They are still coming up with a lot of things for that. But TOPS IR series is more than enough to train you for the actual exam. It's pretty, the questions are just the way it is, and it gives you a idea of how the test is actually going to be. I would say for IR and DS, one should heavily rely on the portal and the post after class tests and the marathons. Yeah, I forgot to mention the marathon series. Uh, if you do that, you will be set for IR. Personally, for me, during the exam, my there was like the exam maybe stopped a few times during the DI section. On the 4th, 12th, and the 17th question, the screen just blanked out, and I kind of ended up losing a bit of rhythm during that. I One thing that really helps you is when you start getting a lot of questions correct in streaks. Getting those questions correct in streaks is very important. And to train for that, you need to, I like the portal really helped me out with it. It didn't go according to plan during the exam. But yeah, the portal and the IR 1, 2, 3 series that is there, the PDFs that are there, they are more than enough.
Great. Yes, so a lot of students tend to skip over those IR 1, 2, 3 PDFs, but I think they are golden resources. And a lot of our test takers who perform really well on the DI section are the ones who go over the PDFs and draw out all the lessons that are supposed to be drawn, and then translate those skills in time practice on the post work and the IR marathon series. So going forward, would you like to give some do's and don'ts, some tips to future test takers that would help them in their own journey?
I mean, I am someone who can give a lot of don'ts, maybe not a lot of do's, because you can, from my journey, you can learn more of what not to do. Uh, Firstly, consistency. You have to stay disciplined. You have to carve out those 2 3 hours each and every day. Uh, I mean, whether or not your job is demanding or whatever it is, you need that, and you maybe need around 3 to 4 months of I ended up taking a lot of time. I ended up taking 8 9 months, but effectively I could see that during the last 4 5 months is where a lot of my practice and a lot of my studying happened. So you need to give that time to the exam, be it from any background you are. Okay, it may be that you're an engineer, so quants comes naturally to you. You may be a law student or a humanities student where maybe verbal comes natural to you. uh, but it's not an exam which is totally based on how intelligent you are. It is more based on how you practice, how you go about things. Octave is there for RC. CR also, there are lot of tips and shortcuts that sir gives, but developing that depth for topics, that's what you need to work on. When I started doing that, I could actually see my score improving. I mean, I am not entirely satisfied with maybe quants and DI, but yeah, I mean, the course is more than enough. Everything is detailed. The entire roadmap is planned for you. It's just implementing it. You just need, if you just blindly follow it and just do as what is said, you will definitely be able to get a very good score.
Right, Ronak, these tips were so to the point, valuable, and also relevant to GMAT prep. And I think many of the don'ts that you've covered, countless of our students tend to say similar things like stay consistent with your prep and all the points that you had to add. And uh, once again, we are incredibly proud of you of the kind of score that you've been able to achieve. And 685 is an incredible score on any given day. And we at Top 1%, including Tanishq and Sandeep sir, are incredibly proud of you and wishing you all the best for your application journey going forward.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much for doing this.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Tanishq. Bye. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.